In this video, I would like to go over dynamic arrays. So in C++, we have two types of memories. One of them is this, static memory, and the other one is dynamic memory. Whatever the variables we create currently, if you don't use new keyword, all of them is created in static memory. So if I want to come here and create integer, let's say a score array of 3, so this is going to be created on the static memory, which is here. Okay, so and in C++, this is called compile time. C++ needs to know the size of the stack because it's going to pile up all the memory. When you run your application, it reserves all the memory location. And memory is valid between this curly bracket. If I create a scope over here, like this virtual scope, and this score will be alive on this and it will be removed. Anyway, so you may notice or not, but if I try to get the size of from user cin, and I say size, but let's prompt something so we can see cout size. So when I prompt this and when I enter the size and put in here the size, it's not going to compile because it wants to. This can change because it runtime I can enter differently when I run it. It's not going to compile anyway, so it's not going to accept this one. It has to be constant. So if I do this constant int and then give the size 5, this will be okay. Of course, if it is constant, I cannot change it. So it will be okay. So I cannot grow or shrink the memory size until unless I compile and run. But when I ship my software, I'd like to, grow my memory size, how much memory, because I don't know at runtime. Maybe I'm writing a software for school which has now 200 students, but later maybe 300 students. If I make this 300, maybe I'm wasting because there may be 50 students, okay? So all of them should be dynamically, we should be accepting, getting. So for this, we will be using a constant like this. So we will like to use dynamic memory. So in order to use this dynamic memory, we need to allocate some memory right over here. And so for this, I'm going to use dynamically, I allocate memory location here and with a given size. So in order to access this one, I need to have a pointer over here, and I will be creating dynamically some array. Just, I don't know what could be the size. So later on I can access each of them and then put my values in there, right? So this is going to point this memory location at the first part of it, which is the arrays, the first address. If this address is like dynamic memory 10, if I can type, it is going to hold dynamic 10 as a pointer. So let's implement this one. So in here, I would like to make this pointer score is a pointer now equal to new int and given size, whatever the size I get from the user. Now, if you see, C+ is not complaining. So I can use this and I can get 5, and this memory will be allocated over this part. But I forgot one thing. I didn't delete. If I use new, I have to use delete, right? So I will be deleting, but I have to use this one this time. That's an array of locations I'm deleting, not just only single location. So if I do delete score only without this angle bracket, it will delete this part but leave the other, so it will cause memory leak. So how am I going to access all these memory location and put something? That's easy. I can use for loop integer the size till the size, and I can ask user to enter something like cin, and again which is score, right? I don't need to use pointer notation. I can use this to get all this data. But if you want to make this more user friendly, I can say enter data, and I will say I plus 1, so it will start from 1 for just for us human, readability wise. So when I do this, I'm not going to create 5 because it will be so much data entry. Let's say 3 and 10, 20 and 30 is going to be put over here with 3, and then later on we deallocate this memory location. Let me put this one over here so we can see. will be deallocated, so I can access all of them. And whatever data I entered, let's spit this out to the screen. I will say entered data, and then I'll just print this to the screen, and then put maybe some tab in between so we can see clearly each of them. And before this, \n would be nice. So when I run this, so it's asking me the size, as you see. I'll say, let's say 4, and it's going to ask me this one by one. I'm going to enter 10, 20, 30, 40, and then it will print enter data 10, 20, 30, and 40, and the memory will be deallocated. This way I can dynamically grow and change the size of an array if I'm creating on the heap or dynamic memory or stack or static memory. That's great. That's it. Thank you.